hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Puck It with Jo. Happy Thursday, everyone. Jo here of SportsGrid. It's time for a Puck It with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X as well as YouTube. We are here the last day of the regular season in NHL, and I cannot believe how fast this season has gone. Now, the playoffs will start on Saturday, and with Montreal getting the win last night, they have clinched that last wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. So the game for the Columbus Blue Jackets now meaningful today, other than playing for Pride and Johnny Gaudreau. So definitely something we're going to be looking at there as Columbus looks to finish off this season nice and strong with another win. We know they've been pulling them together, but there's a lot of meaningless games out there on the ice tonight with everyone's playoff hopes and situations determined already. So we're going to jump into each and every single one of these games. Now, of course, there'll be no show tomorrow, but look for my videos. I'm going to do a video on each and every single one of the first round, and we'll do it for the second rounds as well. So watch for those over here on YouTube as well as on SportsGrid TV on X. Those will be posted. Good morning to each and every one of you. It's great to see you guys. We've seen you every single day of the regular season. I hope to see you for playoffs as well. Rob, I'm glad you cashed with the Red Wings yesterday. They'll be back in action today, and let's make some freaking money, you guys. That is for sure. So we'll jump into the first one. Interesting matchup here between the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, please use caution today when betting any of these games. We know the Washington Capitals did get into the playoffs, and the Pittsburgh Penguins were eliminated. Ovi versus Sid. This is your matchup here. How much are we going to see out of the Washington Capitals players? Oh, another big question mark out there on the ice. Now they have a goaltender, Clay Stevenson. And if you're saying, who the heck is Clay Stevenson? We all are, because he was just brought up from the minors, switching places with Hunter Shepard. So poor Hunter Shepard got sent down. Clay Stevenson got brought up, and this will be his first NHL game of his career. Now, that's a lot of pressure versus a Pittsburgh Penguins team that's eliminated, playing their last game of the season, of course, on their own home ice, looking to make a statement with probably players not playing their hardest here for the Washington Capitals. It is vital that the Washington Capitals do not take injuries going into that first round. We saw yesterday, if you missed, Jason Robinson of the Dallas Stars left the game with a knee brace. So it was a terrible game for the Dallas Stars. They came out playing their whole roster. Tyler Sequin back in the lineup. Now, Mikko Heiskanen not expected for game one. Jason Robinson, we don't know how long he is going to be out. So definitely things to note with the Dallas Stars. Washington cannot allow their big playmakers to take those kind of injuries tonight and us not see them all in that first round. So their health is number one priority. I do think we see this be a looser game, a higher scoring game. Nedeljkovic coming into goal, not Tristan Jarry for the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. I'm going to look at the Pittsburgh Penguins to win this big. I'm going to take them alt puck line, laying a goal and a half at plus 230. Again, last home game versus a team that finished first in the Metro will face Montreal, that second wild card spot in that first round. They will play not as intense hockey as they would if they were an eliminated team as well. So look for the Penguins to come out big. I do think in that first period, we could look at the over 1.5 goals. That's coming in at minus 124. If you don't want to do the alt puck line, the alt puck line laying 1.5 at plus 230 is my favorite bet. Followed by the first period over 1.5 goals, followed by the over 5.5. Now the over 5.5 for the full game, going to have to lay that juice at minus 130. But let's see a couple other ways that we can take some players if they hit the ice for Washington. Now, still question marks. We don't know who's going to hit the ice. Again, FanDuel does not have player props listed at this point in the day, because like us, they're confused in who's going to hit that ice as well. So got to wait for confirmation of those players. This could be like one of those games where we saw Edmonton versus the Kings the other day, list everyone out minutes before that game started. So Dylan Strome, if he hits the ice tonight, is loading for goal number 30 for the Washington Capitals. We could see that come into play with Nevalkovich in net for the Pittsburgh Penguins. 81 points, 29 goals, and 52 assists. You want to look at players hitting these milestones of 25, 30, those kind of numbers for their goals or their assists, because normally it means extra bonuses. Tom Wilson for point number 65 is loading tonight. 33 goals, 31 assists for those 64 points. And then how can we not mention Andrew Mangiapane? Andrew Mangiapane here for 2+ points. I do think he'll get more playtime than, Strome, Wilson, and Ovi. So Mangiapane here, 14 goals, 14 assists, so 28 points. If you could get him for 2+ points tonight, that will hit him at 30. I do think Andrew Mangiapane will see more ice time tonight than we would have seen him in the last couple of games. So look at him for those 2+. Now, Ovi, if we can get Ovi. How much time will he spend out on the ice? We know in that last game that he was on the ice versus Columbus. He got that nice quick goal. He's now at 896. He's not going to reach 900 like Wayne Gretzky was telling him to do and that he'd buy him a car. But if you want to look at Ovi, you could in this one, because goaltending and defense we know isn't the strongest suit for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that Ovi versus Sid. But again, I think they would be... I just don't think it's smart. I just wanted to say dumb to play Ovi, Wilson, and Strome. Give these players the extra rest. Montreal is going to be a hard physical matchup for them. The Montreal speed out there on the ice, especially with these teams that made that wild card, where I say there's nothing to lose. And there really is something to lose, not getting out of the first round. You're not getting into the second round of the playoffs. But for these teams like the Ottawa Senators, Montreal Canadiens, to be able to get to the playoffs, their fans are so happy to see that. It is a win of a season that they were able to make it. And you look at the Montreal Canadiens and what they're going to bring versus the Washington Capitals, and Lane Hudson breaking records. You've got Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield. You've got so many strong, young, talented playmakers that are fast and young out there. And that's the thing. The speed and the youth for the Montreal Canadiens versus the Washington Capitals is going to be a hard one for the Capitals. So don't play anyone here versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, in my opinion. Those are the players that you'd look at if they do hit the ice tonight to be able to just come out and hit those milestones. But we've got to look at players here for the Penguins. I like the Moat puck line, laying the 1.5 at +230. If you look at Sidney Crosby for a point tonight, that will hit him at 90. I wouldn't take the point because we know the books probably will make that at minus like 240. I would look at his goal. He's got 32 goals, 57 assists. I do think Sid can get a goal here versus Ovi and the Washington Capitals. Could he get 2? Absolutely, he could get 2 goals in this one. Could he get the Hattie? Well, we've got a young rookie goaltender coming in for his NHL debut. So the Hattie isn't out of question. That would put him at 35 goals. So definitely something to look at with Sid here. We look at Clay Stevenson, and I don't know what this kid will have out there on the ice. I haven't watched him in the minors. So we're looking at Sid to have a good night. Maybe the 2+ points, stronger way to go with Sid. Again, I don't have odds right now for any player props, you guys, so it's a hard one. Erik Karlsson is looking for an assist. He's had at least 1 assist in 7 of the last 9 versus the Washington Capitals. So Erik Karlsson for the assist will put him at 43. He's got 11 goals, 53 points on the season. I'd look at his assist numbers. That should be right around, a little bit of plus money on him. Raquel's looking for point number 70. He's got 69 points, 35 goals, 34 assists. I can see Raquel getting the point. And then Russ looking for goal number 30. I love Russ for goal number 30 tonight. It's a big number for them to hit, big targets to hit there, and it should equal bonuses. So 29 goals, 34 assists, and 63 points. For Rust, I would look at Rust for 2+ points as well. So my favorite players to circle in this one for the 2+ points is Sid and Rust. And then I would look at Erik Karlsson and Raquel. Richard Raquel parlayed for a point together. I do think those points, those goals, those assists are coming in for these players tonight. So that is where I'm going to go. Let's make some freaking money, Kristen. Good to see you back here for Short Groovy Caps. Yeah, Sid for the first goal of the game. He's got to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder with how much recognition Ovi is getting, right? Like these two to start their careers were really pinned up against each other, and it created animosity. And I do think as they have continue to play. There's still that animosity when they get out on the ice wanting to beat each other, especially for Sid wanting to beat Ovi with all the recognition he's got. But I do think they've grown to be more friendly out there on the ice. So the playoff matchups are going to be freaking amazing, Kev. I've already got 2 upsets in the brewing, so make sure that you do check out my series videos that I will have posted here shortly. I'm going to put up a couple today, a couple more tomorrow. So 2 upsets I do think we could see, and they're going to be great plus money. I've also got some series, 4-2 kind of style wins at plus 480 for a 4-2 win for one of these teams in that first round. So definitely stay tuned for that. Yeah, if you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that retweet button, I would appreciate it. Let's move on to the next game here, you guys. The next game is the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Buffalo Sabres, 2 eliminated teams. Both of these teams not making the postseason, both playing their final game of the regular season, of course, with today being that last one. So just pull up odds, see if we're getting any movement. I didn't give you guys the odds in that Washington Capitals, Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins, if you don't want to take the alt puck line, laying a goal and a half, are minus 102. And that total has shot up to 6.5. It's plus 100 now to the over 6.5. It was 5.5 at minus 130. I still like the over 6.5. I do think the Penguins win this 5-2 style of game. Okay, the Philadelphia Flyers versus the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo is too juicy on the money line at minus 154 for me to touch it. We could find another way to bet this. So plus 128 for the Philadelphia Flyers. Total 6.5. Interesting, the juice to the total is on the under at minus 124. I think this one starts off hot and fast. I'm going to take a goal in the first 5 minutes. We haven't bet a goal in the first 5 minutes a lot, and I do think it has the possibility of cashing. Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch. We've got the playmakers, Rasmus Dahlin here for Buffalo to hit Fedorov coming into net for the Philadelphia Flyers straight out of the gate. So the goal in the first 5 is plus 162 currently on FanDuel. Now, the Buffalo Sabres, they can't go out for the rest of the year with another loss. They've lost their last 4. Look for them to bring it here at home. Like I said, that money line just too juicy that I can't bet it. I do think we see that hot first period. James Reimer coming in for the Buffalo Sabres. If I think we're going to get a goal in the first 5, the likelihoods of both teams scoring or the over 1.5 is right there. The over 1.5 in the first period is too juice, so I can't bet on it, but the both teams to score in the first period is plus 150. Both of these teams are going to play loose hockey. Both teams looking to get their players some top numbers here for their stats. So the first 5 minute goal and the both teams to score in the first period at plus 150. I'll stay off the full game total, though. I could see 4-2 finish for the Buffalo Sabres at the end of the day, but I don't want to take that puck line. Give me Tage Thompson for goal number 45. 44 goals, 28 assists for a total 72 points on the season. Rasmus Dahlin, 2+ points, puts him at 70 points on the season. I do think he can get there. 17 goals and 51 assists. And then Ryan McLeod for goal number 20 is loading tonight. 19 goals, 31 assists, and 50 points. When we look here at the Philadelphia Flyers, this team has been playing pretty solid down the stretch. You got a lot of playmakers that have been looking to come out nice and strong, including Travis Konecny. We're still loading for goal number 25 for him. 24 goals, 51 assists, and 75 points. I would look at Konecny to come out nice and strong. Michkov for goal number 25 is loading as well. 24 goals, 36 assists, and 60 points. So if you want to take Konecny and Michkov, parlay them for a point, you'll get plus money. But I'm going to take both for that goal number 25 for both of them. And then Tyson Forrester, goal number 25. This might be the best look here. He scored a goal in the last 2 versus the Buffalo Sabres. So he's a player that's looking for goal number 25, but has also been able to score in the last 2 meetings versus the Sabres. So Tyson Forrester coming out for goal number 25, I think is a great way to look as well. Now, we have seen the Flyers lose their last 7 on the road versus the Atlantic, and I do think Buffalo at home will get this done. You've got Tage, Dahlin, Ryan McLeod, Alex Tuch. You've got so many playmakers, but I would look at goal 20 for McLeod, point 70 for Dahlin, so that's 2+ points, and then Tage for goal number 45. So should be an interesting matchup out there on the ice. We're going light in these bets, you guys. Player props is probably the main focus of today. We're going to look at some sides, but it's got to be those player props for those incentives. Irish King, good to see you here today. Okay, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Rangers. This is one I think you have to be so careful. Now, we know the Tampa Bay Lightning are locked in the matchup with the Florida Panthers. If Tampa was matched up against anyone else, I would have them winning it in 5. This team, you look at what they've been able to do out there on the ice. They played that last game versus Florida, and Florida rested everyone, but you had Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, and Jake Gunsel putting 6 points up combined together. Nikita Kucherov coming in here with 121 points on the season, 37 goals, 84 assists, set the lead for NHL points at 121 for the third straight time of his career. He's just been so strong, and the speed and the ability to score these goals is there for the Tampa Bay Lightning, but they're going to have a heck of a time versus the reigning Stanley Cup champs. So we'll turn it up that notch going into the playoffs. So that I'll do a video for you guys with my best bets. But now they're taking on a Rangers team that has some younger talent out there that they're trying to get a good look at as the season comes to an end. So this Rangers team is the favorite on the books. You're looking at the New York Rangers that actually it's moved. We've seen that line shift. We were seeing the Tampa Bay Lightning as a slight dog on the road. They're now minus 125, plus 104 for the New York Rangers. Total of 6.5, minus 124 to the over. I tell you, if the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are like a plus 115 dog, come into this one, play all of their players, and someone gets injured, that is a poor coaching decision out here, because Tampa proved in their last game that they were able to come out versus Florida, get those playmakers skating on the ice, get those points on the board, and send them into the playoffs nice and strong. Now they come into this one, and if someone, they're risking injury, it's just not a smart way to go. Now, Andrei Vasilevskiy versus Igor Shesterkin should be your goaltending matchup. Let me just double check if there is another expected matchup here, and maybe that has moved lines against the New York Rangers. Yeah, Igor Shesterkin is confirmed. And we've got Johansson confirmed in net for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Tampa Bay has gone to the backup goaltender. That makes a lot of sense for them to be able to do so. We look at the New York Rangers, and this team won the President's Trophy last season. They're only the 4th team in NHL history to win the President's Trophy one season and come back the next season and not make the playoffs. So not a strong look for them. I do think they're going to get the goals here on Johansson. Now, I know Johansson has to get into playoff form. He has to have that strong showing, but Andrei Vasilevskiy will be the starter for the playoffs for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And unless the Florida Panthers just pick him apart, we're not going to see Johansson out there. I do think the Rangers in this one can put up 4 goals on the board. That's coming in at over 3.5 goals at plus 116. Now, when I was looking and putting this bet in earlier in the day, we were getting the Rangers at minus 140. So I didn't want to lay the juice, and I just want to see if I'm able to get the Tampa. Yeah, the Tampa Bay Lightning over 3.5 is plus 106. So that really hasn't seen the movement. It was plus 116, now plus 106, but the money lines moved in the opposite direction. Very interesting there with Johansson coming in. I am going to stick with the New York Rangers, getting them at a price right now at minus 102, when this team in that third period playing for pride at home could, tie this up and then get the extra goal, even if Tampa holds this one through the first and the second, which would be a live betting situation to come in on as well. But I do think with the Rangers looking to look at this young talent, see how they do out there, I'm really interested in playing some of these players if you can get props on it. Now, let me just see if I'm getting any props right now. We are getting goal props, and I want to look at some of these young guys. Now, we've got Gabe Perreault coming out, Brett Berard coming out, as well as Matthew Robinson. Now, Matthew Robinson was on that defensive pairing with Adam Fox in the last game, and that's where I'm really interested. So in that last game, he had 2 shots on goal versus the Florida Panthers, and I do think he's going to be just skating the heck out there. I want to see what he is for his points tonight. Game props. I'm still not getting points in this one, so we are getting some goals. I don't know if I want to take a Matthew Robinson for the goal. I think that is asking a lot. You got Rempe out there, and he's always trying to prove something. Rempe is plus 1,100 for a goal for the New York Rangers, and I do think that would be worth a little bit. Gabe Perreault, though, at plus 380. Looking at this young talent coming out, I do think is worth a shot. So Gabe Perreault at plus 380 for the New York Rangers, and I cannot find, Matthew Robinson. So he is a defenseman. So he was on that line with Adam Fox. They could set him up in this game to see if he can score and capitalize here. So he's plus 1,800. I think it's a little bit worth a shot. If you can't get a point tonight, I would look at Matthew Robinson and Gabe Perreault of the New York Rangers for their point. Again, the Rangers are going to be seeing what these kids have out there on the ice in this one. So, and with Matthew Robinson playing on that same line, defensive pairing with Adam Fox in that last game, I think it's definitely worth a shot. Now you got Panarin with 90 points, JT Miller with 70 points, Adam Fox with 62 points, Mika Zibanejad with 60 points, and Trocheck. If he gets 2 points tonight, and this is probably where I'd look instead of those other guys, Trocheck, 2 points tonight puts him at 60, 58 points, 25 goals, and 33 assists. So I'd look at Trocheck for 2+. The other guys, no one's really hitting those milestones unless you look at Mika Zibanejad and think he can get 2 goals tonight because he has 18. So Mika for 2 definitely could be an interesting look. Panarin, he's sitting right at 37. So if you think he hits 38, I'd probably look there. But all of these playmakers have the ability to come out nice and strong. John Cooper has really said with his team, with the Tampa Bay Lightning, that we've been counted out for years and years, and this group just keeps proving doubters wrong. And I'm with him, but against any other team than the Florida Panthers in the first round, you guys. So it's going to be a very hard matchup. Now, if we're looking at some playmakers for the Tampa Bay Lightning, depending on how they come out on the ice, Jake Gunsel's 80 points, 14 goals and 12 assists in the past 24 games. So Gunsel has just been really turning things on as of late. And we talked about Nikita Kucherov. Braden Point, we talked about as well. 82 points on the season. He's got 10 goals in the last 13 games. So he's locked in for another season of 40, another 40-goal season, hitting 42. So you got these playmakers. Tampa's a great team. Cirelli, though, could get to point number 60 tonight, and that's where I'd look. Cirelli coming in for point 60, 27 goals and 32 assists. So it's going to be interesting. Mo, absolutely. I will share my favorite 2-pointers at the end of the show just for you. Dylan Larkin, Suzuki, anytime goals and shots on goals all cashed. I am so glad, Vegas Vixen, that you made some freaking money with all of those bets last night. So great to hear. NBA play. So I didn't watch much. How did you do last night? Last night was actually a pretty good night on the ice. We had some great player props cashing out there. Some of the sides didn't come in as some teams, the Dallas Stars was really high on them playing their full lineup, and that was disastrous. They just didn't come out and do anything other than get Jason Robinson hurt. But Tyler Sequin came out, got an assist within seconds of being out there on the ice on that first drive, but then the Stars really shut it down. It was disappointing to see. Let's move on to the New York Islanders and Columbus Blue Jackets. This could have been such a better matchup if Montreal hadn't have won last night, because now Columbus is eliminated. Now, an eliminated Columbus team is minus 164 favorite at home tonight, plus 136 for the Islanders, and a total of 6.5. Columbus is still playing for pride. I know sometimes you see these teams get eliminated and they're heartbroken, but Columbus is playing for Johnny Hockey, and this is their last chance to honor him in the regular season of the season as a whole. So I do think Johnny Hockey, first and foremost, on their minds to get the win for him tonight. It's amazing what his memory has done for this team, especially on home ice. I'd be shocked if Meredith and her young baby Johnny, and the kids are not at this game tonight. I think it's going to be one of those games where it's a heart wrencher for sure for all of us Johnny Hockey fans. So looking at the Columbus Blue Jackets, that juice just keeps ticking up higher and higher. It was minus 130, now minus 164. Money line a favorite. We got to find another way to bet it. Looking at the puck line, you guys know I'm going there versus the New York Islanders and Sorokin. We're starting to lose value on the puck line. Minus 1.5 at plus 148 was plus 160, but I'll still hit on the minus 1.5 goals for the Columbus Blue Jackets at plus 148. I think they come out here and roll and eliminate a New York Islanders team who, Sorokin hasn't been at his best this season, and it's Columbus with Jet Greaves in net, for a big win or nothing. You look at the Columbus Blue Jackets, they had so many hopes that Montreal wouldn't pick up that point last night, and they had the ability, if they picked up 2, to make the playoffs. They won the last 5 straight and 6 of their last 10. And I do think that they come out, finish the season strong. Now, Adam Fantilli has been great out there for them. So has Monahan. Look for both of those guys to light the lamp tonight and for this one to be a big win for their home fans. You could also look, if you don't want to take that puck line, laying a goal and a half at plus 142. It was plus 172, actually. We've lost 30 points in that. You could look at the team total over 3.5 goals. It's still coming in at plus 124 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm going to be cautious on that game. Okay. The Detroit Red Wings versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Detroit is a plus 136 underdog. The Toronto Maple Leafs minus 164. We have a total of 5.5. Minus 124 to the over 5.5. Plus 102 to the under. I do think Detroit is the right way to go with this game. This team, we know, eliminated from playoff contention, and the Toronto Maple Leafs trying to go into the playoffs healthy versus the Ottawa Senators. That's going to be such a physical matchup. The Leafs versus the Senators in the first round. And I do think we could have an upset in the making if Brady Tkachuk is out there on the ice for the Ottawa Senators. Toronto can't risk any injuries tonight. And while you could see this team come in tonight looking to continue with the momentum, they've won their last 4. I think more than likely we get these players rested. Now, if we have Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews out there on the ice, the rhythm, the chemistry these two have built, I do think that would continue into tonight. But again, I don't know if these guys will be hitting the ice. I think it's worth a shot here on the Detroit Red Wings just to get the win, especially because I don't think Toronto is going to play their players for a full 60 minutes, even if they hit the ice to start this game, which could be a good live betting situation for the Detroit Red Wings. I do think a lot of live betting situations will come into play tonight, as we do see some of these teams start those playmakers for the first game, and then they use their depth for the rest of it. So look for rest here for Toronto. Look for the Red Wings to be able to get the win, a 3-1 style win here for the Detroit Red Wings in my mind. Now, Dylan Larkin was able to get that 30th goal, so it was great to see him be able to do so. 4th consecutive season of 30 or more goals for Dylan Larkin. Lucas Raymond has 80 points. That's a career high as well. So look for them to continue to put some points up on the board. You love the under. Maples will not give up the goals. Yeah, so that is a good point. You're looking at a strong under in this one, and that's why I think kind of like 3-1, 2-1 style. Wall should be in net. Now, it's going to be, I think Joseph Wall will be the starter in the playoffs. Stolarz has played great. These goaltenders really have been alternating out there, so it's going to be interesting to see who Toronto puts in the net, but they should play a pretty strong game here. I do think the Red Wings, though, will take more chances in that third period. Okay, Carolina versus the Ottawa Senators. Big news here. Brady Tkachuk is skating tonight. Brady Tkachuk will be out there on the ice at least for the start of this game. And I would expect a little bit deeper into this one because Brady Tkachuk has been off the ice for so long. Just trying to find odds on this one, you guys. They're hiding it. The Ottawa Senators are a minus 125 favorite over the Carolina Hurricanes, who are coming in at plus 104. We know my fears with Carolina all season has been their inconsistencies on the road, and it'll be interesting to see if those inconsistencies really bite them in the playoffs. Now, the Ottawa Senators, all mark expected to get the start, total 5.5, minus 102 to the under. I'm just going to look at one thing in this. Just give me Brady Tkachuk to come out strong, hit Anderson right out of the gate. Otherwise, I don't want to bet anything on this game. I don't want to lay minus 125 with the Sens. I don't know how much the top lines are going to be playing. I don't want to take anything with Carolina because so many players, including Sebastian Aho, are listed day-to-day. Chatfield, Jake Blake. There's so many players here that just won't be hitting the ice or could be hitting the ice, and we're not going to know for a couple more hours. So give me Brady Tkachuk to score tonight. Brady Tkachuk looking for goal number 30 on the season as well. 29 goals, 26 assists, 55 points for Brady Tkachuk. I do think he comes out, he starts off hot, gets that goal, and then probably is rested for the rest of this game. Tim Struzal coming out 76 points on the season, 53 of those coming via the assist. So it's going to be a great one. Drake Batherson also loading for goal number 25. Drake Batherson, Tkachuk, both you can take for the goals, and then Tim Struzal for a point. If you just want to take all three of them for a point parlay together, I think all three of them will get that point on the board. Again, Batherson loading for goal 25. Brady Tkachuk for goal number 30, my favorite bet of this game. And then Tim Struzal for the assist. Jake Sanderson listed day-to-day. We'll see if he actually plays tonight. Okay, last game. My Calgary Flames are taking on the LA Kings. Heartbreaking to see Calgary not still fighting for that playoff spot. But, they did better than I expected this season. Calgary's a plus 132 underdog, minus 160 here for the LA Kings. The Kings finally have home ice advantage in that first round versus the Edmonton Oilers, who have eliminated them the past three. So this is the fourth straight season we're seeing Edmonton versus the LA Kings, but the first time LA is going to have home ice. The LA Kings have been outstanding on their home ice this season. The books having them at minus 160 is kind of shocking since they're locked into their playoff position. We know Calgary is eliminated. I think the books are thinking Calgary's not going to come out as strong as they would expect. And I do think Dustin Wolf is looking for his 30th win. So Dustin Wolf has 29 wins on the season. If we get Dustin Wolf in, and he is still just listed as expected, I think he can get the win. It's going to be hard here as the LA Kings, they are sitting 31-5-4 at home this season. They are so strong. They want to go into the playoffs strong, but I don't think you get a full 60-minute game out of the LA Kings. I think if you want to bet the Kings, bet them first period to come out, get the win in the first period, and then start to rest players. I would look at Kuzmenko versus his former team. He's got 11 goals, 26 assists, 37 points here for the LA Kings, but Byfield, Anderson, Drew Doughty, Kopitar, all listed day-to-day. I can't really take this Kings team with any confidence here to be able to pull it off, even though they have the depth to beat Calgary, where Calgary is coming in. Top prospect, Zane, I can never say his name. It's Parekh, has been brought up from the OHL. Parekh. So Zane Parekh coming out here. I do think he was drafted last summer, 9th overall. He's a defenseman, and what we've seen out of him in the OHL, it's been great. He had 33 goals, 107 points in 61 games in the OHL this season. And I do think he's going to be so impactful out here for the Calgary Flames. The problem is he spends a ton of time in the box. And if he brings that in to the NHL, there's going to be problems for him. He spent 92 minutes in the box this season. Kadri not loading for any milestones. He has 65 points, 33 goals, 32 assists. Huberdeau 62, 28 goals, 34 assists. Mackenzie Weegar has 8 goals and 39 assists for 47 points. Coronado, though, is loading for goal number 25. So something to look at for Coronado. He has 46 points on the season. Morgan Frost for goal 15, I think, is worth a look. Morgan Frost has been just great for Calgary coming over from the Flyers. So goal 15 is loading for him. 14 goals, 23 assists for 37 points. And Backlund is loading for goal number 15 as well. 14 goals, 16 assists and 30 points. Again, don't love this game because we really don't know who is going to be playing out there at all. But I do think Calgary should win this, 3-2, 2-1 style game out there on the ice. So the Kings on home ice are absolutely dangerous. And it's going to be really interesting to see what the Kings are able to do once they go into playoff hockey, because playoff hockey and regular season hockey, it does move up to a different level. So we'll be able to see what Edmonton is able to do coming into LA. But this is going to be a game where look at these teams that are secure in the playoffs. The playoffs start on Saturday. It's Thursday. They don't want to get their players hurt. Dallas was idiots last night. Let's just say it like that. Jason Robinson now will not be out there for the first couple games, leaving in a knee brace. The LA Kings cannot risk any injury at all out there. So, Yeah, they should be resting. Absolutely. They should be resting. Calgary should be able to get the wins. So it has been a great season. I am so glad, Rob. It has been amazing having you here each and every single day. I appreciate you guys so much. Your support means the absolute world. Let's get into the recap, you guys. Hit that like, hit that retweet button, and hit that subscribe button over on YouTube. We'll do the recap. Let's just do the recap of the sides, the totals, that kind of thing. And then we'll get into the player recap. There's a ton of players looking to reach milestones today. I'll go over all of those, and then I'll do my favorite for the 2+ points at the end of that. So if we just get into the sides and the totals, Washington versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Gave me the Penguins alt puck line laying a goal and a half at +230. Both teams to score in the first period at -120, or sorry, the over 1.5 in the first period at -124, and the over 6.5 now at +100. The Flyers versus the Sabres. Give me a goal in the first 5 minutes. That's coming in at +162. Both teams to score in the first period at +150. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Rangers. Give me the Rangers team total over 3.5 goals at +116. That money line has dropped. I'm not buying into it. I think Tampa absolutely should rest their players out here. The New York Islanders and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Give me a big win here for Columbus to play an elite game out here, even though they've been eliminated as of last night. So give me Columbus puck line -1.5 at +172. The over 3.5 goals at +124. They're playing for Johnny Hockey out there. The Detroit Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs. This one could get scary at first, but the Red Wings, I think, at the end of the day, get the win. I don't expect Toronto to play their players for the full 60 minutes, even though they're going to look to come out, give support, and lock down defensively. I think the Red Wings win this 3-1 style with an empty netter being the decision maker. So give me the Red Wings. If you want to wait to live bet this one, I definitely would. Carolina versus Ottawa. I'm not touching a side or a total in this one. Too many question marks on who will be playing. We'll get into the player props that I like for this game, but otherwise, no side, no total. The Calgary Flames and the LA Kings. I think Calgary wins this 3-2 style game. It's going to be a game where the LA Kings should be resting all of their players. So let's get into those player props, you guys. We'll start off with the game, the Washington Capitals versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. With the player props, let's start with the team that I do think gets a win, which is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Their players playing at home for pride. Sidney Crosby loading for .90. Erik Karlsson I would take him for the assist. Raquel for point number 70 and Rust for goal number 30. Those points are going to be juicy for Sid, Karlsson, and Raquel. You could look at the parlay of those points together. I would take Raquel and Sid parlayed for a point together. Erik Karlsson for the assist separately because you will get plus money. And then Rust for the goal number 30. When we look at the Washington Capitals, my favorite player prop would be Andrew Mangiapane for 2+ points to hit 30 points on the season tonight. Tom Wilson, Dylan Strome, and Ovi. I don't know how much playtime we're going to get, but to note, Tom Wilson looking for point number 65, Dylan Strome looking for goal 30, and Ovi, if he got 2+ goals, would hit 45 on the season. I'm not sure if they risk him and play him. I wouldn't. When we look at the Philadelphia Flyers versus the Buffalo Sabres, you guys know I'm looking for a fast start in this one. Tage Thompson for goal number 45 tonight. Rasmus Dahlin for 2+ points to hit 70 tonight. And Ryan McLeod for goal number 20. That's all for the Buffalo Sabres. When we look at the Philadelphia Flyers, Travis Konecny for goal number 25. Michkov for goal number 25. And Tyson Forrester for goal number 25. He has the recency versus the Sabres, scoring in the last 2 versus the Sabres. So if you just wanted to take one of them. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Rangers. Again, I don't know who is going to be playing here for Tampa, but if you're looking at Cirelli, he's loading for point number 60 tonight. I would look at him and that's stay off the rest of Tampa. I would look at the young prospects out here for the New York Rangers. Now, you could look at Trocheck for 2+ points for the Rangers. That puts him at 60. I think it's a great way to go. We know Panarin, JT Miller, Adam Fox, and Mika Zibanejad all have great numbers. No one coming up against a huge one. I'm interested in Matthew Robinson for a point tonight. Can't get it on FanDuel. His anytime goal plus 1,800. In that last game, he was paired with Adam Fox on the defensive side of things, had 2 shots on goal. You could also look at Gabe Perreault coming out at plus 1,100. I do think it's a prospect game for the Rangers. The New York Islanders versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. I would look at Monahan and Adam Fantilli for the goals tonight. The Detroit Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm going to stay off all player props in this one. I just don't love it, you guys. Second night of a back-to-back for the Red Wings. Well, I think they could. I'm not seeing anyone that I really want to circle. When we look at Carolina versus Ottawa, the only players that I really like are Ottawa players in this one because so many are resting out here for the Canes. Brady Tkachuk is the main feature back on the ice tonight, looking for goal number 30. I absolutely love Brady Tkachuk for goal number 30 tonight. Drake Batherson for goal number 25 tonight. And those are my 2 favorite. And then Calgary, I would look at the prospect here. Zane Parekh coming out for his points tonight for the Calgary Flames. I would also look at Morgan Frost for goal number 15 and Backlund for goal number 15. Looking at these depth players, as well as Coronado for goal number 25, who are looking to pad their stats tonight. Again, everyone for the Kings listed day-to-day right now. We will see who hits the ice. If you're looking for a revenge angle, Kuzmenko versus his former team now with the LA Kings to come out nice and strong. He has 37 points on the season, 11 goals and 26 assists. The 2+ points that I like the best today. Well, Brady Tkachuk for the goals, probably one of my favorite bets for his goal tonight. And then I would look at the 2+ points to come in for Andrew Mangiapane to hit 70 out there for the Washington Capitals. I think he'll get enough play time. And then it would be Sid, 2+ points for Sidney Crosby. I think he has every ability to get 2 points on the board. And then it would be the 2 points for Rasmus Dahlin to hit 70 as well tonight. So you guys, that is the show for today. We almost went a full hour. Actually started a little bit later, but I'm looking forward to the playoffs. It's going to be fantastic, Rob. So make sure you do stay tuned for that. Use caution when betting tonight because these teams play Saturday in the playoffs. They should be resting their playmakers out there. I don't see why any of these teams, the Dallas Stars needed to get that win before going into the playoffs. The inconsistencies they played with again last night was terrible to see, but risked injury, and these teams can't risk injury. So you guys, all the best in all of your bets. I see so many of you watching. If you could hit that like, hit that retweet button, and stay tuned for my series predictions in the first round. Make sure you do so. They'll be posted over the next couple of days before Saturday. And then, of course, Saturday, join me here for Puck It with Joe as we kick off the playoffs, and we'll look at every single game on Saturday. Still waiting for the playoff schedule to be out, you guys. I'm not seeing anything as of yet for the playoffs, but it is going to be so great to see. I do think we're going to kick it off Saturday night with Toronto versus the Ottawa Senators. So we'll see what we've got on deck, but let's have a good day. The weather is actually going to be beautiful tomorrow here. It's going to be like plus 16 Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but we're going to have beautiful weather today, a little bit of sunshine out there. So you guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining me here for Puck It with Joe on SportsGrid TV on X.